All right, so we're going to take a look at this Chubby Behemoth clip because they reference something that I had talked about here recently, and that's Brad Williams. Because that little fella is a pure gimmick. If it's not something to do with being short, he doesn't know how to make it funny, okay? He's a hack, and he's also sort of a predator, okay? If any of you remember the story from the Getting Dug with High podcast where he talks about switching places with Carlos Mencia on a tour bus and sleeping with a woman, well, we're going to revisit that here today because Sam Talent and Nathan Lund bring it up. Let's hear how they talk about this man.
I made fun of a guest. They played a clip and I was like, well, that sucked. And they were like, well, he's a friend, or he's doing the podcast next week. I think it was Brad Williams. I was like, this sucks. Who's this dumbass?
I remember that. Yeah.
It was Brad Williams. They're like,
I think it was Tiny Brad.
I think he's going to be here next week. Well, he was probably telling a story about the fun gag where he pretended to be Carlos Mencia and then get lit.
All right, now, see, Lund brings it up. Lund starts saying it right out of the gate, making fun of it. It's sad, really. The one thing that I don't want to have happen is people forget, right? I don't want you to think that because Adam Ray tells you that Brad Williams is somehow a good comedian that you have to believe him and support the things that guy does. Outside of like Tony Hinchcliffe and Joe Rogan, Brad Williams is probably on the top of my list of actual comedians I dislike. Fully. But let's hear some more from Sam and Nathan here.
Get laid. That was a cool story.
Hey man, that guy has to exist in prison rules just out in the wild. Yeah, he has to do whatever he can to impress people and make himself useful. And if that means some kind of, sex prank,
he could it only worked on people who would have fallen for a wolf in their grandmother's shawl, where they're like, whoa,
sure.
You don't look like Carlos and your arm seems shorter.
Well,
the better to finger you with, my dear.
See, this story here that they're sharing about Brad is well known in the comedy community. It's not new, right? But much like the Steve Ranazizi shit, him lying about being in 9/11, we have a certain obligation to make sure people don't forget that, yeah, hey, just because Adam Ray or Tony Hinchcliffe or Louis J. Gomez or somebody says that this guy's a fucking worthy comedian, somebody that you should spend money on to see or watch their specials, I sit here and tell you, nay, don't do
that. I heard he did the thing, though, where, he was laying in bed with the stocking cap on, and then he had the blanket pulled up to his chin, and then poking out the bottom of the blanket was a pair of shoes they had propped up. So they thought, and also... to make it specifically Carlos Mencia, they were the kind of Zapato boots that curl at the tip. So I was like, hey, in the dark, after God knows...
We're all 3'11" in the dark.
How many grasshopper shots do you think that lady took before she accidentally fucks Brad Williams?
I'd love to fuck Carlos Mencia and or Brad Williams, and they're like, what?
See what I'm saying? This is a story that these guys know, and they're on another level of comedy these days, and I would say that they weren't even around really doing comedy back when Brad and Carlos were touring, bro. There's no way. And they still have heard this story. They know the lore. And yeah, they're mocking it and making fun of it, but it is not. It's vile.
Yeah. we can make that happen. Yeah, it's 2 minutes into the pod, so that's good.
It's Schrodinger's sex assault. It's what it is. Now look, I like B-Dub, Mm-hmm. He's a good guy. He's fun.
Yeah, it was a random clip. I didn't know what we were doing. It was the first clip. I thought maybe we were supposed to be mean. Uncalled For was mean. So I thought, oh, we're being mean. And then it was like, oh, he's about to be in town. I was like, all right, cut it. I don't care. Shit. You guys are going to do 20 of these. They did 400 episodes. Can you imagine?
Yeah, against all odds and against the listeners' wishes.
There was a petition to not save it.
There's a funny thing about Brad Williams is one time it was a Comedy Works Entertainment gig, and I drive him up to like Sterling. Is that the one in the northeast corner where the prison is?
Yeah, Fort Morgan and Sterling
Yeah.
were Moose and what's his name's 2 gigs.
No.
All right, so maybe I was a little bit wrong here with my timeline, but Sam saying that he was driving Brad to certain gigs. Maybe Sam and them, yeah, they might have crossed paths, but I don't think Carlos Mencia was doing anything at this point.
No, there was
Sterling
one that's
was-
in the northeast corner. There's a prison and there's a college up there. There's like a junior college. So it's me and Brad Williams. I don't have a car, but I said, yeah, I can drive. So I enlist one Byron Graham. Byron Graham's car broke down. Like
One of 8 comics with a car in Denver. He got a lot
Right.
of work based
Right.
off of
But the-
having a car.
But it was tough though because he also had a vest. So you know you didn't really want to be in the vest car. But what are you gonna do? But his car broke down on like 20th, so I was like, oh shit. Well, hey, Urus, get over here. But then Urus couldn't drive because he didn't have a baby seat, and Byron wouldn't let him borrow his. So you know we had to Uber.
They
No.
were at Loggerheads
Urus
because
gave
they
us a
were
ride.
they were the 2 guys with cars.
Yeah. They were pretty much the same guy in my mind for about a year. Where it was like, Urist or Byron. Well, Aaron is before B, so it's less work for my thumb. So let's give Aaron the call.
Graham is before Urist. Yeah, they were.
Right. I'm supposed to call Aaron Urist's father to get his brisket recipe for boys. I'll tell you why I unleashed on your dumb ass this morning, Lund. Not even unleashed, just asked you 2 valid questions that you Red Foremaned your way out of because everyone's a dumbass except for you.
Well, there you have it, guys. Revisiting the Brad Williams, Carlos Mencia friendship by Sam Talent and Nathan Lund. I found it interesting that even these guys have heard that story, know about that shit. Because again, how do you know about that and then still say Brad Williams is a good guy? Ugh. Again, that is what they say about all of the worst people. Oh, he's a nice guy. Well, that's just what you're saying now because I think you're actually afraid to dip your toes in it seriously and be like, that's fucked. Anyways, if you like this reaction, you like this channel, hit the subscribe, all that stuff, and